What's up, guys? Meta here, coming at you with another retro deck profile. Today I thought it'd be fun to take a look at Simon He's YCS Seattle Top 8 Chaos Agent list. This is my preferred list for agents for this format as opposed to the Trooper Agent build. All fingernail jokes aside, I do really like this list, and this list is really fun. I did take it to a 2012 tournament a while back that we did with our friend group. We had like 16 players, and me and my roommate ended up splitting top two. But yeah, it's a really fun list, really explosive. And if you guys don't know the joke, Simon He was banned for a little bit for putting his fingernail in his opponent's cards when he would play against Spellbook. He would check their grave, and then he would make a fingernail mark on cards like Master, Tower, Fate, Eternity, anything that was like a non-starter card, and then stack them unplayable hands. But he was also a really innovative player. So let's get right into this list here. Our three boss monsters, unsearchable, unfortunately, but 3 Hyperion. We don't play the field spell, so there's no way to search this out, but this card is just insane to be able to just pop cards, give yourself live Leviair targets, things like that. This deck, like, if you just look at it, it just looks really bad, and then it just OTKs out of nowhere, and you're like, what just happened? So that's why I prefer this build over the Trooper build. The Trooper build essentially resolved around summoning this with Call the Haunted or summoning Kristya by just milling it with Card Trooper and playing 3 Call the Haunted, and that was kind of the way that deck would function. 3 Venus to get our Shine Balls from the deck. You Valor I believe the personal theory on this one is the Valor the second one if you're playing against this deck. In 2011, for September, when this deck was really good, you would Valor the first one because you play Birdman, but no one played Birdman anymore. So if you Valor the second one, you force them to pay an extra 500 life points, and they're stuck with a useless Shine Ball on the board. So that is, I don't know. Then you're also giving them the ability to summon and pop with if they have an Hyperion. So it's your call whether or not you can respond to a Hyperion, but making your Venus dead and taking Dark Mist out is actually really relevant because they can't make Darkness anymore. 2 Earths. We just got our second Earth back this format, and which kind of let this deck live. So this card is really important to this deck. And then 3 Shine Balls. The biggest weakness of the deck is just drawing Shine Ball. That's the big crux of this deck. The big hindrance is it drawing Shine Ball. We have our 2 Tour Guys, make rank 3s, Dark Engine, things like that. We don't play Allure, but we do play a relatively big size Dark Engine, so we can utilize our Chaos monsters. The 1 Sangan as well to go with our Tour Guide engine. We can use it to search Tour Guide. We can use it to search things like that. We can use it to search our hand traps. 2 Thunder Kings to stun our opponents. This card is really good going first, especially against something like Wind-Ups, against like the Shock Lock and things like that. 1 Spirit Reaper, pick cards out of our opponent's hand. It's really good to stall against Macro Rabbit and things like that. It is another Dark as well. We also have our boss monsters. Our big Archlord Kristya. This game can bring the game to a screeching halt. It's not fun to play against. 2,800. No one can special summon. Card is just absolutely insane. This is the nuts card in the deck if you're able to resolve it. And because Hyperion manipulates our graveyard, we can make this card live. We don't play 2 because it is pretty easy to brick this card, and we want to be able to go. And we don't want to be stuck with a bunch of cards we can't summon. But the one of Kristya is insane. We have the Chaos Monsters, 1 BLS, and 1 Chaos Sorcerer, free summons essentially, with the Light and Dark and things like that. And it allows us to kind of, again, go. That's what this deck wants to do. You just want to just keep putting pressure on your opponent, keep putting monsters on the board. We play 29 monsters. We just want to force our opponent to respond to what we're doing and make sure we're controlling the tempo of the game. And these cards really help you do that. 1 Gorz. We don't really play any traps. We play 1 trap card. So 1 Gorz, this thing, it's usually alive as long as we have the life points. We don't have to worry about things clogging our back row. We do have to be careful about what we're setting MST against turn 1 though, if we do want to if we did open Gorz. 2 Tragoedia. Again, big monsters, things like that. We will draw with Maxx and things like that. And this is like an additional OTK stopper with our Gorz. We have our 2 Trags. We have 1 Honest to make sure we're always bigger with our agent monsters. Just this card's existence, the fact that you could normal summon Earth and your opponent could realize that Earth is a threat because they could be potentially poking into an Honest, and you could cause let's say a Mermail player to make a Catastor or rather than something else with their Diva, and just because of the threat of this card. So that is interesting to think about. One Herald to actually make use of those dead Shine Balls in our hand, or those dead extra Venuses. Once we resolve the first Venus, we typically aren't resolving anymore. So unless we're just getting an extra monster out on board for other utility, but for most part, we're just making our Gachi, or we're making our Dark Mist or whatever, and that's kind of the play. So extra agents in hand, we can just kind of utilize them with Orange Light. We also have our 2 Maxx's and our 2 Veilers. These are really good game 1 against windups because of the game 2 and 3, they will cite Defissure against you. So these cards are really good game 1, and then we kind of have some other outs in the side deck for games 2 and 3 in order to make sure we're able to put a stop to the windup loop. But that is it for our giant monster lineup. For our spells, we do have 10 spells. We have 1 creature swap. This card is really funny if we use it with our Acid Golem in our extra deck, but we have the 1 creature swap to make use of that 3rd Shine Ball. Same with our 1 of Econ. This is another reason why people don't care for this list, and why I really do, is because some players will see a big spell lineup of 1-ofs and see inconsistency, whereas someone like me will see versatility. So it's whether or not you prefer it, because like that Trooper build, it's 3 call, it's, you max out on your Kristyas, you're maxing out on all those copies of cards you can play. In this one, you're just playing a bunch of different, like 1-ofs. We have like our 1-of Mind Control here to utilize our synchro plays and things like that. 1 Lance to protect our monsters, damage step shenanigans. 1 Dark Hole. 1 Monster Reborn. 1 Heavy Storm. And then a really solid meta call for this event would be 3 MSTs. We can use it to hit Macrocosmos. We can use it to hit Abyssphere. We can use it to hit the Wind-Up Factory. It's more so than just picking off, like if we're playing against like Geargia or Macro Rabbit, it's more than just picking off back row to make our cards live. It's using this to stop our opponent from making their plays. So we have the 3 MSTs to stop those searches or stop those summons with the spheres, and stop that Macrocosmos, which would, prevent us from playing, because we don't have warning to stop Macrocosmos. So we have the 3 MSTs, and then of course the 1 trap, Treacherous. This card is insane. He did mention something about how once they see this card and they know that you're playing Treacherous, you have to know what your opponent is going to do, or think through what they could do, because if you have to wait to respond, they know your set card is Treacherous. You could also mind game them and have a set MST, and if they like summon Tour Guide or summon a monster or something, and then you go, let me think, and you like wait like 5 or 10 seconds, and then you tell them it's okay, you might trick them into making a play like making a Zenmaines with that instead of like a Leviathan Dragon, because it's like, oh, he's got Treacherous. I have these monsters. I shouldn't make Leviathan Dragon. I should make Zenmaines, and then you end up being able to make Temtempo on your turn and getting rid of their Zenmaines. So that's an interesting way to like bluff Treacherous and with space. So if you just have like a random bluff card set, you can kind of make your opponent think that you have a card that you actually don't. On to the extra deck. We just kind of play one of a few levels for the synchros. We have the 1 Armory Arm for 4, 1 Catastor for 5, 1 Gaia Knight for 6. I actually like Orient Dragon over this, but I understand the appeal of Gaia Knight because it's bigger than Megalo, which I completely understand. Being 26, being bigger than Megalo is really important. But I do also like Orient Dragon be able to banish the stuff that they would make off of Diva. Black Rose, and then Stardust for 8. And then for the Exceeds, we have the rank 2 package here. We have the Gachi, Phoenix, and Dark Mist. The attack gain off Dark Mist is permanent, so that's basically making your opponent, like pop it as opposed to running it over. Gachi is optimal turn 1. We're able to go, Venus Gachi is just such a strong opening. And if we get the 3rd Shine Ball, we could do things with our spell lineup, like with our econs and our creature swaps and things like that. Phoenix, you can, like I said, this deck can OTK out of nowhere. You could just be kind of like playing a stun game with like a Spirit Reaper or a Zenmaines or something like that, and then all of a sudden just OTK out of nowhere by dropping some Hyperions, and then, doing your Venus to make a Phoenix and then going for game and just out of nowhere. Those 3 are really good. For rank 3s, for our tour guide, and extra Venuses, Spirit Reaper, things like that, we have the 1 Zenmaines, the 1 Leviair. This card is really good. I like to banish Earth off of Hyperion to make sure that we're able to go get a tuner to get into our extra deck and things like that. It's really cool to be able to like summon Chaos Sorcerer, banish a monster, summon Tour Guide, get the Earth that we maybe banished to summon that Chaos Sorcerer, and then make Stardust with it. So that's a really cool play that I like. Leviathan Dragon, Acid Golem, again, we play Creature Swap, so this is pretty funny if you can, get both materials off it and then give your opponent the Acid Golem. Temtempo for like our opponent Zenmaines and things like that. 1 Heliopolis, because we play a bunch of level 8s, and we have like Trags that can target things in our graveyard. And because we play Trags, we play the 1 Gustav Maxx. I personally prefer playing Scrap Dragon over this card. I'm not a really big fan of this. I would just rather just play a Scrap Dragon. Even when I do play this deck, I actually do cut this card for Scrap Dragon. But he ended up running. He said he never made it. And then on to the side deck. We have the 1 Chimera Tech and the 1 Cyber Dragon. He actually said he would side Cyber Dragon in against decks that like he wasn't even good against because he wanted to take stuff out. Like if he would play Chaos Dragons, he would side out his 3 spaces and his heavy, and he didn't want to side in anything else, so he would put Cyber Dragon in just because it was better than having a dead like MST that just wasn't good against anything. But yeah, this combo is also really good against things like Karakuri, Gear gadgets, things like that. The teleport Karakuri build was actually pretty cool this format. 2 Gemini Imps, and 1 E-Virus. This card is really cool against Dino Rabbit because the Lagi and Dolka are dragons and not dinosaurs. So the fact that you're able to like take a Lagia with this is really cool. 1 Leeching the Light for the mirror match, and 2 Nox for Gear. This hitting armor is just so good, especially hitting it before they're able to have gear. The deck is much slower without it, so this was pre-gear. 2 Gozen Match. This card is really good against Rabbit. This card is really good against the Wind-Up Loop as well. So I remember I had a really cool play with this. I was playing against Rabbit, and I had Chaos Sorcerer, so I had Chaos Sorcerer on board. I normal summoned Earth. I finally, because we were both drawing and passing, and he can clearly tell, like, I'm holding a bunch of Hyperions, but I haven't hit my agents yet. So I go, okay, I'm going to summon my Earth. I finally drew Earth. I summon Earth, and he goes, okay, chain TT, chain Macrocosmos, and I chain Gozen Match in order to send my Earth to the graveyard before Macrocosmos resolve because of controlling a dark. And then TT resolves, and I'm able to banish Venus from my hand and the Earth from my graveyard to destroy cards. So, and we were able to get going with that Hyperion. So that was a really interesting chain link resolution there, and having a dark and a light and it not hurting you. 2 Soul Drain for water. He said he didn't play 3 because they still have like Diva plays, and they can still summon big monsters with Diva and like beat you down and stuff like that, and use Marksman to get Dragoons from their graveyard. So he's like, if I have these cards and I'm drawing more of them and I don't want to draw these cards, I need to draw my monsters. So the deck is really sensitive to the point where he would only want to side no more than 3 or 4 cards per matchup, because the deck's synergy, it needs to kind of stay the same, so siding is really difficult. Water would have that problem later on. 2 Royal Decrees, because we don't play any traps, and if we want to do whatever we want, it's kind of fun to be able to stop a deck like Macro Rabbit or things like that that play a ton of traps. So it's also really good against Chain Burn. And then the last card is 1 Dark Magician. The story behind this is the night before the event, he was out to eat with some friends, and when they decided to play a match, loser had to side deck Dark Magician, and if they got a feature match, they would have to side in Dark Magician. Lo and behold, he got a feature match round 6, drew his Dark Magician, actually was able to tribute summon it, mind control his opponent's Megalo, and then attack for game with Dark Magician. So he actually won a game with his Dark Magician, which I think is hilarious. But so it ended up coming in clutch, despite it being a 2 tribute vanilla monster. But hey, 2,500 is bigger than Megalo. Let me know what you guys think of the deck. Be sure to like and subscribe for more retro format content, and thanks for watching, guys.